Traveling alone has never bothered me. In fact, I prefer it. No distractions, no obligations, just me, the open road, and my thoughts. I've driven cross-country more times than I can count, staying in cheap motels, eating at roadside diners, and soaking in the eerie beauty of abandoned highways. But one night, somewhere deep in the Appalachian Mountains, I learned that some roads aren't meant to be traveled alone. It started like any other drive. I was heading south, trying to make good time before stopping for the night. My GPS warned me of construction ahead and suggested a detour down a lesser-known route. The new path was a winding two-lane road cutting through dense, endless forest. No streetlights, no signs, just my headlights carving a lonely path through the dark. About 30 minutes in, the fog rolled in, thick, heavy, almost unnatural. My high beams barely cut through it. The road seemed to narrow, and I slowed to a crawl, gripping the wheel as my heart started to race. Something about the fog felt wrong, like it was alive, wrapping around my car and swallowing the world outside. Then I saw it. A gas station, standing alone at the side of the road. The kind that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1950s. A flickering neon sign buzzed weakly. Last stop. The place looked abandoned, only one ancient-looking pump, no other cars in sight. But I was low on gas, and something about the air, it felt heavy, pressing against my chest. I pulled in, stepping out into the thick silence. The air smelled stale, like rotting leaves and something metallic. The only sound was the faint hum of insects deep in the trees. Inside the station, a single overhead light buzzed. A man stood behind the counter, tall, thin, almost stretched in a way that seemed unnatural. His face was gaunt, his skin too pale, his sunken eyes staring at me like he had been waiting. "You shouldn't be here." His voice was flat, hollow. I forced a laugh. "Yeah, kinda got lost. Just need some gas." He didn't move, didn't blink. "You need to leave, now." Something in his tone made my stomach drop. "All right, man. I just active." Then I heard it. A low guttural knocking on the glass behind me. I spun around. The windows were dark, but in the reflection, I saw something standing outside. Tall, too tall, its body obscured by the fog. Its fingers, impossibly long, tapped against the glass in a slow, deliberate rhythm. Knock, knock, knock. I turned back to the cashier, but he was already reaching for something under the counter. "Go," he whispered. "Don't look back. Don't stop. Just go." I didn't argue. I ran to my car, heart slamming against my ribs, and sped off down the road. The fog only got thicker, swallowing the gas station behind me. My GPS stopped working, the screen frozen on a blank, nameless map. That's when I realized, no matter how long I drove, the road never changed. No turns, no signs, just endless blacktop cutting through a wall of fog. The trees on either side blurred together, shifting unnaturally like they weren't trees at all. Then my headlights flickered. For a split second, the road ahead wasn't empty anymore. Something was standing in the center of the lane. Tall, unmoving, waiting. The lights came back on, and the road was empty again. But I knew it was still there, watching. The knocking started again, not on the window, from inside the car. I don't remember much after that. Just speeding, heart pounding, refusing to look in the rearview mirror. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in my car, parked in front of a small motel at the edge of town. My gas tank was full. The road behind me was gone, nothing but an empty field where the highway should have been. The woman at the motel front desk didn't seem surprised when I stumbled in, shaken and pale. "You took the detour, didn't you?" she asked, her voice quiet. I nodded slowly. She just sighed. "They always come back different." "I haven't taken a detour since.